Welcome, everyone. We will be getting started soon.
There's an old familiar silence when I'm lost inside my heart. I can't hear the voice inside me, so I look up to the stars.
Who's here for the first time? I see a couple of new names, new faces. So who's here for the first time? Let's see if I can. There we go. Scott, did you put your hand up that you're here for the first time? Really? I thought you were on the last one. Asset management, really?
No, we spoke last at the accountability meeting.
That is what it is. That is what it is.
First time here.
Awesome. Hey, Rohan, thank you for coming.
Hello, hey.
Hi. Hi, Carrie. How are you? Where's everyone from? I'm just waiting for Bibi, and then I'll start before she comes in though. So I'm in Massachusetts, where we get 2 weeks of summer, hence my sweater. It's already cold. Carrie, I think you're in a warm state. That's why we have a natural love-hate relationship, because I hate the fact that you're in a warm state. Rohan, you're in a warm state as well. Where's Dan? Nope, you're in cold. Adam, you're in cold. Scott, you're in cold. Good. Sandy, where are you from? Well, let me ask you to unmute.
Oh, hey, I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're feeling the cold. It's a little cold.
It's cool. It's not as cold as it is up here. All right. Oh, really? Adam, it's gonna get warmer in Massachusetts. It is. That's the odd thing about New England. We're very odd, indeed. All righty. Let me get the slides going while Bibi finds her way in here. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first time, this is the Asset Management Series, Asset Mondays. That's what I'm going to start calling it. Let me share my screen. All right. There we go. There we go. All right. It's Asset Mondays with Ify and Bibi. And today we're going to be going over property management. Whether you self-manage or you have a property management company, we're gonna look into all of that. And our topic for today is property management, the key to unlocking success in asset management. Is that a myth? Is that true? What do you guys think? Hold on, let me just spotlight Bibi, find her. There we are. And she disappeared from my screen. Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
There we go. All right. All right, what are we doing here today? So for those of you who, thank you for coming. If this is your first time, we are the Multifamily Freedom Chasers community. We'll talk a little bit about who we are and what we do. And today we're going to be going over property management, the key, like I said, the key to unlocking success in asset management. Bibi, I was telling them that it is cold here in Massachusetts, and I have a love-hate relationship for those of you in warmer climates. So are you going to be bringing some heat on this Zoom tonight?
Yes.
All right.
I came prepared.
Okay, you did? Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right. Let's go. You want to tell, I know we tag team back and forth, but do you want to tell people who you are? We have a couple of new people on here today.
Okay. I kind of have issues telling people about who I am because my journey is still very far off. And until I get there, then I'll introduce myself. But for the time being, I am Bibi and I'm the CEO of Blue Oceans Equity. I'm a mom of two. And before now, my previous experience was property management. So you see what I'm pretty excited about today. I ran a property management company in my previous country in Africa. Then I also have experience in asset management. So that is all about Bibi for now.
Awesome. And like Bibi, I'm also a mom. I'm a pharmacist. I've been working in an ICU for about, I don't know, 12, 13-ish years. My multifamily investment journey started about a year-ish ago, and I'm plugged into a couple of communities, one of which focuses on creative finance, and the other one is on commercial multifamily, in addition to the Multifamily Freedom Chasers community. Bibi and I are partnered on 2 assets that we closed on almost simultaneously. And yeah, I also have a passive investment, excuse me, in Mississippi. If you guys would love to reach out to us, we would love to hear from you. Shoot us a DM or an email. Scott, I know that you've reached out, and I meant to reply to your last email. I apologize. But yeah, you can reach out to us through email. It's up here, and then it'll come. I'll put this up again on later slides. But feel free to contact us with any questions. If you have questions about something you've heard about today or previous sessions that we've had, you can also throw it in the chat. I will try and put the link to the YouTube recordings in the chat. I don't have it handy, but I will try and do that. All right. But we don't bite, we're accessible. Reach out to us. All righty. What did we do last week? So last week, we reviewed the importance of early engagement of the property management company or your property manager with your business plan. Should you start with them early or late? How early is early? We went over that. And what are core components of an ideal business plan? What's a business plan? We reviewed an asset manager's role in budget preparation. And for those of you who were here last time, you should know the answer to who prepares the budget. We also outlined steps that ensure that your budget aligns with your pro forma. And as we do with all of our series, we reviewed a case study. All right, so this is our curriculum snapshot, sort of. And for today, this is our week 3. We're going to be going over property management's role in asset management and maybe touch on reforecast, or maybe let's see how it goes. That may or may not happen today, depending on how lively the discussion is. All right. All right, so I got a question for you guys. For those of you who either own rentals, you own multifamily, you're in the pursuit of multifamily, which is everyone. Bibi, can you grab the people in the waiting room? I don't know. Hold on. Did I make you co-host?
No.
Hold on 1 second. All right. Let me do that. It's too many screens I have up here. All right. For those of you who either, you own your own rentals, you own multifamily, you're on the journey to, acquiring your first small, big, mid-size, what do you guys think? Should you self-manage your asset, or should you hire a third-party property management company? And I am not shifting from this slide until you throw your answers in the chat. It's an intimate enough room. How many people do we have? We have about 20 people in the chat. So Sandy says, hire that thing out. I'm not doing it myself. Scott says, hire a third-party company. Rohan says, hire. Oh, Adam says, if it's large, hire. Oh, hire internal.
Okay.
Internal. Does that mean the property management company is part of the GP team? Hire, hire, hire. Yeah, so what are the things that go into whether you hire or you don't hire? You're thinking, I don't have much experience. Does it matter on the size of the, the asset? Do you want to own a business, or do you want to be the landlord business, so to speak? And are you boots on ground, really? Maybe, what do you think?
Like when we were having this conversation yesterday, I told you it's neither higher nor higher. It depends on some reasons, and let me tell you why. When I started my journey, I had few portfolios, so I decided to hire. I decided to run it myself. And what was I trying to achieve? I was trying to learn the business. That was why I did it. I wanted to learn the business and understand it from the perspective of a property management company. I wanted to make my mistakes. I wanted to know what exactly it is that they see and the challenges and everything. So during my first period, I did it myself and managed it myself. But because I started growing, I decided to start hiring. So in order to answer your question, Ify, this is what I would say. Hire someone to manage your business if you want to scale. But if, for example, you want to own a property management company in the future, you can start up by managing little portfolios like four plus 12 units, 10 units, 8 units. Because this is what I say to people. There's no difference between a 12 unit and 100 units. It's the same effort you put in both. It's the same standard, everything is almost same. So you understanding it from that perspective, let's say you want to open a business of a property management in the future, you can start out with that. Or you want to learn, then because something you don't know, when people are making mistakes, you don't know how to correct them. Like now, there's no way property management company will make some mistakes and I will remove my eye because I already know it. You know why? Because I've experienced it. So I did it myself for some reason, but it's not sustainable. I would advise that if you want to expand your portfolio, you hire a property management company. So that's my answer. It just depends on what you want to achieve with it.
Awesome. Can I just ask Kevin to clarify? I'm sorry, was somebody else talking? Okay. Can I just ask Kevin? Kevin, can you just clarify what you mean by hire internal? Let me try and find Kevin.
Yeah, I meant that you would be, depending on the unit count, we would prefer to hire staff and manage the property management internally, but on-site staff, third party, overseen by the team.
Oh, got it.
I think I understand what it's saying. It's something else, but what it's saying is true. Yep.
Cool. Okay. So let's
So
see.
what he was basically saying is about the size of the portfolio
Yeah.
that will determine whether you should hire internally or hire externally. That means the payroll
Mm-hmm.
team or the property. We'll get to that anyway. So, but that was what he was trying to say.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I guess this is really the meat of the discussion tonight, which is how do you source for a property management company? We want to hear from you guys. I know that if you've gone through the Armada series, getting a property management company, if you choose to do that, which it sounds like most people want to do, is something you want to get earlier than later, so, right? They're part of your team. So when you go on that hunt, how do you go about doing it? Let's start there. Who has done it and what was your experience? Feel free to unmute. No one?
Okay, let me just
I can,
Wait, we got someone maybe.
well, I was going to speak from the other side as a property management company. I don't do third party at the moment. Hi, everybody. This is
Hi,
Cecilia.
Cecilia.
Hi, beautiful ladies and gentlemen. I interviewed when I was doing third party for someone, I would be very specific in the questions that I would ask the investors as well, because from the property management side, sometimes what people bring to the table may or may not be realistic, and you have to be able to provide them the guidance from the property management side based on your experience of what can and cannot be done. Hopefully they brought you in before they bought the deal, so you could give them feedback and help them with market surveys or due diligence, whatever it is that they do on the front end. But it kind of goes both ways. I know that we're talking about the property management companies, like what we're looking for in property management companies, but keep in mind that a good property management company, if they're doing third party, they're going to interview you as well. It's not going to be about just bringing you on for that property management fee. It's going to be, can they really provide you what you're looking for and what you set out to do in your business plan?
See if you're a good fit. Got it. Bibi, how did you source for property management companies?
Oh yeah, I did it through different way, and it was based on my growth. I didn't know better at the beginning. I was doing Google. There's nothing wrong with going on Google and looking for the property management company around the property it is you want to purchase. There's nothing wrong with that. But what that does for you is you go through a stream of people and you hit so many trash property management companies, sorry to use that word, before you get the best. So when I started, I interviewed more than 10 property management companies in PA and in Dallas. And it was hell. In short, I felt I was educating them. I was able to get one or two people from that interview. So I decided to try something else. I said, brokers have literally sold so many properties, and they know those properties that have good property management company that have really done well for those property management company. They will be my best source of getting good management company. So what I decided to do was, at the time at which I was doing my underwriting, when I was doing my broker's call, I started at the same time asking for a property management referral. So in that way, I was able to get 3. And this was my question to them. If you were buying this property, which of them would you use? And all of them were particular about we're particular about a property management company. So it was at that point I said, can you do a brief introduction? And they did. And that was when I started asking them the questions we're going to run through in some minutes. I started asking them, and these guys were so educated that I started learning from them. And that is what we should be looking for, people that can educate you about the area and educate you about the market and all that. So that was how I started selecting my property management company in the different markets I am through referral, and not just referral from anyone, referral from my brokers or referral from big sponsors that have done deals before, that have worked with these people. So that is how I will advise anyone to source for their property management company. Referral is my best tool. So
Oh, okay. Cool. So brokers. So not necessarily the broker that you tend to use. Any broker that brought you. Ah.
the broker that gave me one of my best property management company, I've never worked with them.
Oh.
I have never done anything with them. All I was doing was looking at their deal, but the deal didn't pan out well. But the property management company I'm using and still going to use for God knows how long, it's until they drop their standard, is those people. I got it from them. So irrespective of whoever, whether you're working with a broker or not, you can ask them, not just one, go around, ask like 5 brokers, which is the best in this market, based on what you, that's how you can get a good property management company. It has worked for me, so I would advise you to do same.
Okay.
I have a question. So how do you find the right balance between like a property management company that is expensive versus somebody who's less expensive for less work they do? Because the most expensive ones are usually they promise quite a bit, and until you try out if it's really worth, you don't know, right? Versus somebody subpar who's little below or feels cheaper like a bait.
Yeah.
Uh,
My answer to that is in the slides. But let me just say it in a summary. First of all, the first thing you should be looking at is not the cost, in my opinion. There are many criteria that you should check first, then the cost will come in between. Because if they're expensive or cheap, regardless of it, and they don't know the job, then you are back to square one. And don't forget, property management is the pillar that holds the deal. In short, they are the most important recruitment, the most important sourcing you ever do on your deal.
Mm.
So because is that a very sensitive role, so many box must check out before, not money is part of it, but not really.
okay,
Um,
thank you.
Cool. Good question. All right. Before we jump into the meat and potatoes of everything, I just want us to go over what we hope to achieve by the end of this. So we're going to go over the questions to ask when screening. So, you get the referral. Now, what do you say? What kind of questions do you ask? And then as you're asking them, how do you even know if they're a good property management company at all? And Cecilia, feel free to jump in as we go through this. We're going to talk about the act or the process of managing the property manager. And what are the warning signs, red flags when it's time to, for your ways to part? And then we'll review, sample checklist items to be worked on by us and the property management company, and then pre-close the things that we're going to do prior to closing, around closing, and post-closing. All right. Let me stop share.
can you share the case study, the properties we'll be talking about for?
Oh, sure. Sure.
So one of our objective is we don't want to tell you stories or do what I say and don't do what I do. No, we are telling you based on the experience we've gathered over some few years, what we've done, and what we suggest you can do. So this is a 35 unit property that we bought in 2021. The business plan for this was just to make it stable. It was 100% occupied, but the house was basically trashed. So we did a value add. It was heavy lifting. We did value add, and we practically took out all the tenants and brought in new tenants. So right now it's 100% occupied. So why am I using this case study? Because it's 35 units. I want to explain it from this perspective for smaller units and for properties that have bigger units. So if you can, you show them the other sample we'll be using. So this is a 35 unit property, and this is a 120 unit property as well. This is both traditional rental, that is the regular residential, and student housing. The business plan is to stabilize the property in form of adding value to it. So that is all about this. So I'm going to give you different perspective from these two angles. For those of us that are just starting up and we want to start up with smaller units, there are different methods. And those of you that are starting out big, very big, maybe 70 units and above, yes, there are different ways around it. So these are the case studies we'll be going through today, and the challenges we had and the successes we had with them. So Ify, please, next slide.
All right. Okay, so I think the next slide is going over the questions that we should ask. All right, in no particular order. Because I'll eventually show you the questions, but and feel free to participate as well if you either ask these questions or you've been afraid to ask these questions. First question, how long has your company been in business in this area?
Yes, so the reason why you should ask your property management how long has your property been in that area is because you want to understand if they know the market. And let me tell you why that is important. When you're doing your underwriting or you're sourcing your deal, I'm one person that believes that underwriters, deal finders are all in the same boat as the asset management, because they are the visionary of the deal. They create the vision, the business plan. And so indirectly, they work side by side with whoever the asset management manager is, or they are actually the asset manager. No two ways about it. And when you're doing your underwriting, I normally tell people in my underwriting class that you have to have a property manager's perception, his perspective about the deal. Because one, they know the area, they know the location, they are the ones that will tell you about the market. Because a good, not just a property management, management company, a good property management company, they continuously do comparables. That means they do market survey, sometimes monthly, sometimes quarterly, sometimes 6 months, depending on their standard. So who is best to know what the market is saying than them? They're in the market, they do it, they know what their next door neighbor is charging, or what is affecting their lease, or whatever it is that they're going through. So that is one important question you need to ask them. The next question, please.
Okay, let me go with another one. What is your process? What is your procedure?
That is a second important question you need to ask them. I'll give you an example of Maverick, the 100 units, the 120 units I just showed you. We went through different property management companies during the time we were looking for one. We interviewed about five different property management companies, and we noticed bureaucracy, bottlenecks. Let me explain it. We have those very big property management company that the property manager themselves are ghosts in the process. That means they do not have a say in the process, because we have the office, they call them corporate office. The corporate office are the ones driving everything. So invariably, when I call and I want to ask what is the occupancy for today or something, I need to go through different departments. I need to go through the accounting department to know what my electrical bill is or how much they paid, or why is my electrical bill higher than what it is. I need to go through a department. There is no one person I can reach out to answer. And that for us was an issue because we needed someone that we could pick up our phone and ask questions on real time, not through the office or anybody. And don't forget, corporate office are corporates. They can help you paint the story and make something that's really bad very pretty, because they don't want to, they're corporate people. They don't want you to get upset. They don't want you to know that there are issues or challenges. But when you are talking directly to the property manager or whoever is on ground, the maintenance people, the probability that they will tell you the truth is high, because most times these people are not they are not the back end office. Most times they are stressed. They just want to tell you what the problem is and see if you can even solve it for them. So depending on your business plan or your structure or the size of your property, you can now decide, do I want the very big corporate office kind of um, property management, or do I want the local team that know what they're doing, that have few they don't have bottlenecks? Do I need those kind of people? So it happened to us on this, and we're able to streamline it to just one property management company at that point. So it just depends on you, your the size of your deal. Imagine if it was a 500 or 1,000 units. Yes, I can do the corporate office, because at that point it's a lot of numbers that are flying. It's a lot of activities that are going on. Yes, the corporate office will fit that kind of portfolio. But when I'm talking about 120 units, I'm talking about 150, or talking about 70 units. I don't need too many bottlenecks to get to just ask a question. So it just depends on the size at that point. So if it
Money. What are your management fees? I think Rohan kind of alluded to that.
yes. So I remember someone asking a question saying, should we go with the ones that are expensive or the ones that are affordable? And what I said was that was not like a priority, but it's important that you know it, because those are the things that will affect your underwriting. For example, we have a 35 unit that I just showed you. The way a property management company runs with a smaller unit is different from a bigger unit. How do I mean? A smaller unit typically do not need payroll. Who are the payroll staffs? These are on ground staffs, people that do the maintenance, a leasing person, a porter, and also a property manager on site. These For those kind of payroll staffs, you need bigger units, because it's from the income of the property that you pay off those staffs. So imagine a small unit like the 35 units I just showed to you. The income cannot afford to pay one person, not to talk of two people. So, but invariably, the management fee is always higher in smaller units than in bigger units. Smaller units, you can get units as high as 8% to 15%, depending on the property manager. But in bigger units, you have them between 3% to 5%. So you might look at it and say, oh, it's cheaper, it's more affordable when I have bigger units. Yes, I would say to you that I think it's more affordable, because when you're looking at the percentage and the large size of the unit, it's always better you have a bigger portfolio. But if for any reason you prefer a smaller portfolio, just know that there are things that are involved in it, like higher management fee. You will, most times you have markups on your repair. My property manager for that 35 unit always charges for every repair. It takes 10% of the repair value. So let's assume the repair was 1,000. It's taking 10% of it as his payment for executing that repair. So, and if I have a vacancy and it's filling it up, they also take up a percentage of that, maybe 50 to 100% of the first rent. They take that into them. So if you're looking at it, you find out that your vacancies might be very high, if you have large turnover, because for the first month of every new tenant, you don't own it, or you own only 50%. that is what we experienced with our 35 units. So the agreement, they first of all told us that they were going to be collecting 100% of the first rent. But we negotiated. I said, no way, you cannot collect 100% of my first rent. I will give you 50% of my first rent. So that is how we've been doing it. So apart from the rent, the repairs, their property management fee is always higher, and all that. And again, since they do not have on-site staff, their turnover time might be slower than the ones that have payroll staff on ground. We've seen a property manager executing the jobs very, very late. 2 months turnover, 6 months turnover, 1 month turnover, compared to the ones that we have on site, So I'm just giving you the difference on managing a smaller unit and also a bigger one. So what is the next question we should ask?
I just wanted to say that that's what attracted me to, the 70 units and up.
Yes.
So it's go big or go bigger, unless you want to do.
Exactly. I would advise you go bigger, because I have smaller units and I have bigger units. I save more on the bigger unit. I can save a lot of cost on the bigger unit than the smaller unit. Smaller unit, I can't help it. I have to pay for my repairs. I have to pay for everything, aside the management fee.
All right. Okay. So another one is, how many evictions have you handled and at what cost?
Very, very important. These were some of the questions we asked. We asked all our prospective property management this question. And the reason why we're asking this question is to know how they handle eviction. I've seen a case whereby a tenant will not pay their rent, and a property manager is so lenient, and 1 month will pass, 2 months, and I've not recouped my rent. And don't forget, one of the KPIs we always look out for in properties is occupancy and the income and collections with delinquencies. So if they do not know how to evict, or the process of evicting a tenant that is not paying, then that might be an issue for you. And if they do not know the rules or the policies in that state or in that area that governs, because those are part of the questions I ask them. Oh, what are your eviction process? What is the state? What does the state allow us to do? How many months or weeks or notice do we need to give our tenants before we take them out and all that? And this is when you start seeing them telling you the state law allows us to do this, doesn't allow us to do that. And then I also ask them the question, what is the cost of eviction? Because everything you're trying to do is numbers. You want to know how much this thing is going to affect your deal. And again, in that way, you're also asking a question, what is the eviction rate in that market? You want to know if people are really that broke and maybe they always have issues, they don't pay rent, and you keep having large turnover. So those are questions you're indirectly asking them and helping. It's also helping your underwriting to tell you the kind of vacancies you have on that on your property. So it's important you ask that questions, because eviction is a compulsory process. Not everybody, not all your tenants will be good from January to February. You might need to take them out, and your property management must have a grip of it.
I don't know if you want to respond to this now or later, but Barbara's asking in the chat, is there a way to incentivize a property management company to increase occupancy and rents and decrease turnover? So in line with that, one of the questions we did have is, what is the longest vacancy your company has ever had?
Oh my God. Let me answer the first one. The second one, you remind me because it's so. Can you repeat the first question again?
So
Sorry.
Barbara's asking, so incentivizing, do we incentivize?
Yes, it's very important. See, these people they are human beings. There's a human factor to so many things. If you have noticed, I don't know if some of you noticed when we're showing you the budget, there was a budget for bonus appreciation for our payroll staff, and it's intentional. It's just to make them do what It's their job, but it's just to motivate them to do. So there's a commission that they get if they're able to meet your goal. Next week we'll be talking about KPIs. These are like key performance indicators. When they meet your set key performance indicator, you can incentivize them to say thank you or make them even do more and all that. We do that for our staffs, for our payroll staffs. We have it in our budget to appreciate them if they hit a milestone. Yes, so it can be in form of money or gift card. So it depends on what you want to do.
Alrighty. And then my question was, what's the longest vacancy your company has ever had?
Oh yes, and it happened with the smaller units. And like I said, one of the challenges the smaller units have is most times they don't have in-house repair or maintenance team because it might be very expensive depending on their size. If they're very, very small, they might have on call. That means they need to call contractors to come and help them do the job. But guess what? Contractors also have their life, they have their deals that they need to sort out. So you might have a long wait time with them. We've had wait time of 4 months on one of our deal. The deal was for veterans. The veterans were not paying they were not paying their bill, and we evicted them. Within 1 month, they were out of the place. This happened in March. I went there in August, or yes, I went there in August. It was still vacant. I said last month it was still vacant. And this is one of the reasons why I'm traveling down to that property to now this is the time for us to decide I need to fire you. We'll get to that. What are the signs you need to wait that you see that tells you it's time for you to fire your property management company? Yes, so we've had as high as 6 months vacancy. A lot of money. Yeah.
All right. We'll do a few more and then we'll move on to the other.
A lot. We cannot cover all the
Yeah, there are a
questions.
lot of questions. Yeah. How do you collect rents and then how do you handle funds? And I know those are two separate things.
Yes, this is a very important question you need to ask them. Let me tell you what, we had an issue recently with a smaller one again. You see, I'm always referring to the
Go
smaller.
bigger, go bigger.
An issue with the smaller one too for collections because, like I said, I was managing this property. I started out managing them myself and all that, but when they decided to manage it, they started managing the account. And I asked them to create an account for us. But because it's a smaller unit, they will typically not create an account. They will put it in a single account as well as other of their customers as well that are in similar boats with you. This is typical in that market, and the law allows for that because I had to go check. The law allows for them to do that. But the issue with that is that we wanted to apply for something, and the company needed to know our cash flow. And the only way for us to show them was through our bank statements. But guess what? We didn't have access to that. So invariably, that ruined that business for us. We're not able to use that because we had no access. Yes, we're making money from this property, but we could not show it to anybody. So you need to ask them, how do you collect rent? So because of the lesson I learned from those ones and other ones, I decided that any property I'm working with, because of my business plan, I always want to see the activities going on in real time in my account. You need to create an account for me. If you cannot create an account for my particular portfolio, then we can work together. It's important that I have access to my account in case I need to fire my property management company. I will not start running from pillar to post, asking them to release my funds. I'm underwriting a 265 unit deal. And in that deal, there were a lot of balances. Balances, that means delinquencies. A lot, like 224,000 delinquencies. And I asked the owner, why do you have this large delinquency on your books? And he said, I just fired my property management company, and the city, because it's a low income, part of it is a low income housing, and the city has paid it to the property management company, and they are yet to transfer it to me. And I'm like, oh, really? So your property management has a hold on that you fired him already, and he still has um, access to collections and all that. So it's important that if you have bigger properties, you should ask your property management company to create an account for you. So those are questions you'll be asking them, especially when you have bigger ones. The smaller ones, depending on smaller ones, typically it's one general account they used to manage everything. So you might just have to know if it's something you can do with them or not. It's an important question for you to ask for many reasons, not just because of collections, not just because of that, but because in case you decide to terminate them, it will be a very swift process as well with them.
So, I mean, Bibi, on that note, because the way I've always understood it is you control the account and they have access, but it's the way you're describing it is almost as if you have equal access. Should they have equal access?
No, this is it. When this is something we're supposed to discuss at the end, because we're going through the checklist. Hopefully we'll be able to go through it. But at the time when you are negotiating your contract and agreement, it's a period where you have a lot of say. You'll see a contract and agreement that tells you, we'll open an account, we'll control it, you don't have access to it, blah 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 blah. Take note of that. We've seen that happen, and we went back and we reviewed it and told that no, you're going to create an account for us. We'll have access to it. The account will be created in our business name, not yours. You'll be the one operating it, but we have access to it. That means in case in the future you decide to leave, or we sack you or whatever, or you terminate with us, we still have ownership of our account. So these are conversations you should have during your contract and agreement, back and forth. You should have that. It's very important. It's a very, very key aspect you need to take note of during your negotiation.
Okay, so I'll pause on our questions here. I'll ask Barbara's question and then we'll move on with the slide. So Barbara is asking, similar to what you just touched on, before you close on the property, have you fully negotiated your contract with the property management company?
Oh, very, very important. In short, there's no closing without doing that. We can't move forward without having a contract. In short, we can't even move forward. We have that needs to be sorted out before I even start showing you my business plan or whatever. I need to know. I need to know, because at the point of which we are having the conversation of these questions I'm just asking, at the point at which we're having it, once all those things start checking up, the next question I'm asking you, send me your contract and agreement, because that is where we will now know if these people have hidden things in it. That is why we have a
An
legal
attorney?
team.
Okay.
We have a legal person on our team that goes through all our contract and agreements. I'm a numbers person. I'm not, see, you can hear my accent. I'm not an English lady. I just know how to speak English, but I don't speak like people, other people. So what I'm trying to say is we have professionals on our team that will go through those documents and cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And you'll be surprised and amazed what you will see in those. I've seen I've seen a contract agreement that the property management company was telling us that they will not be responsible for any damages, even if it was caused by gross negligence.
Yep.
And we're like, really? If there's an issue that happened because your staff caused it because of gross negligence, you want us to take responsibility? And they said, we are not going to take responsibility over anything. So you'll be amazed at the things you see in contract agreement. So that is, after you've asked all those questions and they check the box for you, the next question is, send me your contract and agreement, and take your time, go through it. And it's not cast on stone. It's a party of two people. Put what you want in it and negotiate. This is what I want. And they'll tell you this is what we want. In the contract, we also saw something like $25,000 or $50,000 was supposed to be for something. And we told them, when we saw that, what? So you just go to our account and take out $25,000 to $50,000 without our approval. So in the contract, what we did was we said, Anything above $5,000, you must seek for approval. And what does that do for us? It helps us to manage our funds, to know where exactly it is going to. Because at that point, when somebody is bringing $25,000 bill to you, or an invoice, you're asking question, what is this for? What do we need it for?
But the money's been spent at that point.
What you have to ask questions. And for example, they might say it's a quote for, let's say, for the roof. It's a quote for the roof, and you're asking them, how many quotes do we have? Do we have one? It's at that point you now start negotiating. Can you send me like 3 quotes? It's very ideal that in situations like that, you don't just go with 1 quote. You ask your property manager to send you 3 quotes. So in our contract agreement, this is what we always put there. We have both of us, we agree on the contractors. It is there. We put that intentionally because if we did not put that, the contractor, our property manager would tell us that you don't have any right to tell us who we are going to use. So in our contract agreement, we put it there that both parties will agree to so and so is there. It's intentional because we also want to have a say in those large things that happen on the property.
Awesome. All right. So let's share screen.
Yes, please. I've been
All right.
talking from my head.
All righty. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, so before we even get here, there's so many questions you can ask. You should ask your property management company, and these are these the questions. Yes. So let me go through them, but most of the things I said is
Yeah.
part of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first one is management policy for evictions and lease violation. I just explained that. How many evictions have you handled? At what cost? You also want to know their experience on how they handle evictions. It's very important. What is the expected vacancy rate and delinquency in that area? This is good for your underwriting. You need to know if they know the market vacancy, because that will also determine how well your property will perform in terms of occupancy. So when you're able to tell you this is how the market, like when one of the reasons why we went for the Maverick portfolio was because the property management company told us that the vacancy rate is 3%. And the property was at 68% when we bought it. So we already had a dream that since the market is at 97%, then we can get our property to 97% because the market sees so and all that. So these are questions you need to ask, and this will tell you if they even know anything about the market. What reports do you provide? This is one question I ask because, like I said, as an asset manager, you need to look at some particular reports like your income statement, your balance sheet, your delinquency report, your rent roll. Very, very important report. And why are you asking for the reports that they can provide to you? Because one, this can affect your KPIs, can affect your can also, you need them also for your investors. So you need to know if they actually even know what they're doing. And not just that, you need to ask them what kind of software do they use. There's no more spreadsheets. We don't want a property manager that will be giving us spreadsheets. What is the software you use in providing this report? Because you want to have access to this report in real time. You don't need to start calling them, send me my P&L. You just need to log in and get your reports out yourself. So you need to ask them, what kind of reports will I be getting from you and all that. When we were doing ours for the Maverick, we asked those questions, and we also told them the kind of reports we want. I gave them a sample of the report I want on a weekly basis. I said, once we start, I want you to use this report for me because I want to catch, because of my KPIs, I want to catch my occupancy. I want to know what my delinquency, my collections is, my work order. I want to know what my work order is. I want to know what my average rental income is. And these are consistent with me. I want to know those things on every week and all that. So This is a very important question. Review contract agreement. This is what I just explained to you. Review references and visit their properties. The thing is, if you, I don't know if you can remember when we were interviewing a property management company, and he was so sweet. His voice was so sweet. He was talking very fast, like an actor, and
Mhm.
all that. He was short. If
Yeah.
he could between the line and his heart, that this guy was
Smooth
fake,
talker. Yes.
smooth talker, but he could deliver nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. So you need to ask, review is their references and their properties. We actually drove down to his property. Actually, truth be told, they were managing it well. The property was well managed. We went around like 5 properties, doing our visits to see what those property management companies are doing. You need to visit and ask them for their reference as well. Next slide, please.
Okay. So this one.
Yes. Qualities of an ID property management company. The most important one for me is good communication. One of the property managers we're about firing, one of their best skill is communication. Their return time, when you ask them a question, their return time is less than 5 minutes. You will get a response.
It's almost immediate. Yeah.
You must get a response, and I give it to them. I've never seen any property management company that's been that fast in my experience, that will give me very quick response. It's very, very important that an IDPM should respond fast. Experience is very important. Yes, people can grow experience in 2 years. They can grow experience in 10 years. But I will say this, the longer they are in the business, for me, the better it is. But does not mean you cannot give people chance if they've had 2 years experience. It depends on you. But I like when people are telling me they've been in it for 10 years, 15, 20 years. It shows me you've seen different markets, different challenges and all that. You know your game. So investors mindset. Not all property management company are aware of syndication. Some of them is very new to them. They do not understand how it works. They do not understand how come 5, 10 people will be in a meeting with them and be asking them questions on a weekly basis. It's kind of new. They don't understand that we have returns or distributions to give to our investors. So you need to, this is very important. One important quality you need to know if they have investors mindset. Like our property management company for one of our properties in Fort Worth, it has an investors mindset. He's busy gathering our money for distribution. In short, he doesn't want to release our funds to us. He doesn't want to release it to us because he wants us to hold on to them until our distribution. So he has that mindset because he's also an investor. He's helping us increase our other income without even we asking him. He's initiating ways we can improve
Practice.
on our property because he has that mindset. So you need to look for property manager that feels that can act on your behalf or think like you as the person that is funding the deal and knows that you are not in a business to lose money. Company structure. I explained this previously. You don't need any property management company that has bureaucracy or bottlenecks. Please avoid it. Anyone that tells you corporate office, this, that, you don't have access to the key people playing the game on the team, then that might be trouble for you. So it just depends on you. But for me, I will avoid bureaucracy and professionalism. Very, very important. You don't need a property manager that will be giving you spreadsheet instead of, properly atomizing it and all that. They need to be professional in every aspect, even in their office, the office lookout, everything. They need to be very professional in every aspect. Leadership. They need to show form of leadership. This is the one I really like. Patient but assertive. Let me tell you what that means. As much as you want them to be assertive, you also need them to be patient. There's some people that have legit reasons why things are happening in their lives, sometimes a property management company can be a little patient and give them like a payment structure for them to pay their bills and all that. But the property manager also needs to know when to be assertive, when to stand his ground and say, no, this is not working. So invariably, he has to know when to draw the line and say no, enforce things, and the time to be patient with his tenants and all that. So it's important that they have these both qualities. Next slide. So managing the property manager. I want to assume all of us are in this meeting because sometime near the future, or some of us are already asset managers. We are in this for the business to know how we run our property. Managing the property is very important. As much as we are managing the manager, we are hands-on and hands-off. I don't know if we've gotten to that slide, Ify, but okay, we'll get there. Okay.
It's down here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
So
down here.
okay, as an asset manager, what should you be doing with your property manager? Because at the beginning stage of the deal, you have to be hands-on. There's nothing like, I don't want to, I'm not a property manager. I don't want to encroach into their job. I don't want to. No, you have to encroach into their job. You have to. You have to manage it for the next 6 months. Ensure that it's stable before you take your hands off. Not off, like just give them since they've been able to find their bearing, you can now give them the opportunity to continue doing what they're doing. So you need to have, how can you be hands-on is by having constant review and meetings with your property management company. So for our team, we have weekly meetings with our property manager. And why are we doing that? We're doing that to always be aware of any immediate issues, not just any immediate issues, even successes. You also want to be happy about your investment. I do that a lot. I outside the weekly meetings we have, I always find it as a point of duty to be aware of what is going on. So I do a separate call to the property manager, and I'm not just asking about my deal, I'm asking them how they are, and not just asking them how they are, I'm asking them, so what are the issues, what are the challenges? And because I do this on a routine, they always expect my calls. So as an asset manager, you need to be hands-on. I'm aware of anything that happens in the property, even before everybody in the meeting comes on board. Other of my colleagues, I want to know what any surprises, I want to know and see if we can address it ASAP. As an asset manager, you need to review reports weekly because things can happen within hours. Like, for example, we had a meeting during the day, and less than a few hours, we had a major boiler burst. Our boiler burst. It didn't just burst. The gas was leaking. They had to call the city to turn it off. Everything just happened in a space of 3 hours. Everything that was fine just became bad. So because I'm always on call, I was aware of these issues, and we started providing solution. The solution was get somebody to get a replacement. We need to replace this fast. I also asked them, have you informed the tenants? They told me, yes, we've informed the tenants and all that. I also need to know that things are going on well. Then visit the property as needed. I visit our properties twice a month. You can do that once a month. Twice a month might be too much for you, but because it's just 50 minutes away from me, I visit there twice a month. So, but if it's very far from you, once a month, or your boots on ground, someone that's boots on ground is stays very close to that place, should be visiting the property. And the reason why the person is visiting the property is because you also want to see that what they are telling you is true. And aside that, and to the property, I visit all vacant units. Let me tell you a story of what happened in one of the property management company we wanted to recruit. Somebody reported this to us and said that they had a vacancy for 2 years, but the property manager, I don't know how he was able to do it, that the owner did not notice that the property manager brought in his girlfriend in that vacant unit and was lying to the owner that they've not rented the place for 2 years. And because the property is 450 units, the owner maybe just one unit will not kill me, you know. Invariably, his girlfriend was there. She had a baby there and everything. And I think at the point where they were negligent and all that, they decided to change the property management company. So the new property management company came to inspect all the units and found out that this unit was occupied by the manager and his girlfriend, you know, so they had to fire him and all that. So as a property manager, as an asset manager, you believe what your property manager is telling you, but go there and see things yourself. So I always walk through all our vacant units. I want to be sure that if there are seven, if they tell me seven, seven is seven, seven is not eight, or seven is not six, and one is used as a private motel, you know, we need to be sure of what they're actually doing on those units. And if they're telling you we've done a make ready for five, let it be five. You go there, you count it five. You know, it's a lot of work, but I do it. I go around those properties to know and be sure that since they know that I come, they're always on their toes, you know. So you have to develop a balanced supervisory style approach, hands-on or hands-off. So like I said, the first 6 months, please be hands-on, after which you can now slowly just give them the opportunity, but not 100% hands-off. Then you also need to review your KPI metrics and goals. Next week, we'll be talking about this. What are the KPIs you should be setting for your property? Which one should your property manager set? Which one should you be looking out for? We'll be talking about this next week. Please, next slide. Oh my God, my mouth is paining me. I've been talking for. This is a very, very interesting topic because we experience this, and this is not a very good experience because it can slow you down. It can affect your business during that transition time. So it's very important that when it's time for you to fire your property management company, you do it. And what are the signs that tells you it is time for you to send them out? The first thing I look out is, are they even meeting up my KPIs, my key performance indicator? Are they meeting it up at all? What are my occupancy like? Okay, I gave them this property at 60%, and right now it's even at 50. They're not even improving, nothing. It's just really bad. And it's over 1 year. It's time for them to go. My collections, these people don't collect rent. Instead of $10,000, they keep collecting $5,000, and 5,000 always go to bad debt. What are you doing with those kind of people? That means they don't have the ability to enforce or to evict people. They are just there wasting your money and wasting your time. And don't forget, every money lost will affect your baseline. Very, very important. So if they are not collecting, that's a sign. Your cost control. Property management company are always there to spend your money. They're always there. Instead of them repaying, they always want to change things. So you as an asset manager should be the in between. Can we repair, or can we change or replace and all that? So if you're
like can we repair instead of must we replace? Yeah.
Yes, we must replace. Yes, because all they know is replace, replace, replace. They don't want to repair. They don't want to go through the stress and energy of doing that most times. So when you're seeing that your cost it keeps going high and you keep warning them and all that, that is a sign that these people don't even understand your business plan. Because as an asset manager, one of your key role is to increase your income and to reduce your expense. So if they are not even having good collections, that means your income is low, your expenses is high, then you are already in trouble. What are you doing with them? Don't forget what I said. They are the pillar or the foundation of your business plan. Without them, without a good property management company, to be difficult for you to achieve your business goals. Then inexperience, if they've proven to be inexperienced, incompetent, and ignorant, this is a no-no for me. You have to send them out. Lack of incomplete reporting. Have you ever educated a property management company? You are the one teaching them their job. This is an example. When they become so inexperienced, they don't even know what they're doing, you need to send them out. Lack of owner's mindset. Like one of the property management company we want to fire or we are firing, it has lack of owner's mindset. They do not care. They do not care. Anything that happens, and they will push back. Sorry, it's not my fault, it's your fault. They start throwing blame at the owner, you know. So when you see that, They do not care about you. They care about their percentage and their management fee. You send them out. Unreliable. When you see the sign of you cannot rely on them, you can't just trust them to do the job, then that's a sign that you need them to go out. One very important thing I will need to tell you, at the point when you've decided to send them out and you have a replacement for them, please allow the replacement person take over immediately. Don't leave that, because at the period when you are saying, okay, I give you 30 days to wrap up your things, that 30 days are going to mess you up. They have the tendency to now take off their hands off the wheel and say, to hell with this deal. After all, I'm going in 30 days. They can ruin your business within that 30 days. So it's important that at the time you've made that decision, ensure that the replacement is ready to come on board as quick as possible to avoid story that touches the heart. So next slide.
Okay.
We've done with,
Oh, wait.
yeah. Okay, so this is the last. Yeah, you want to say something, Ify?
No. The
Okay,
checklist.
so
I'm
as
going to pull it up.
okay, so as an asset manager, what are the things you should be doing before you close your deal? It's very blurry. We can't really see it. What are the things you should be doing before you close your deal, or the things you should be doing like 2 days to your closing, and things you should be doing after your closing, because you and your property management company, you need to work hand in hand to ensure a very swift transitioning or takeover and all that. I'll give you an example. You're supposed to work, at the beginning when you're doing your due diligence, you walk around all the unit to know what is going on and all that. Do you know that before you close, you still need to tour those properties to know that things are the way they were, or to check if there are new work orders you need to start doing immediately you take over? Do you know that you still need to check their inventories, the inventories that they give to you? Do you know you need to check them at the time of closing your escrow? Let me tell you something. One of the deals we closed on, they gave us an inventory that we had this, had that, we had stove, microwaves, we had different parts of items. Guess what? We did not close the deal on time. We closed the deal around 6 p.m. Because we closed the deal 6 p.m., we could not do a tour, it was too late. So we decided to go early in the morning to go and do the tour. And guess what? The owner had cleared out everything. There was nothing, not even needle in that place. It was as clean as they took out everything, So because of that, it's a necessity that before you close, there are things you need to do with your property manager. And what are those things? If you can, share the screen.
Okay. Did it look better the second time I shared it? Let me do this. Does this look less
Yes,
blurry?
yes, very good. Yes. So, like I told you at the beginning, you need to open your account. So, because my property management company knows that I want my separate account, these are the items I will give to my property management company to open up the account for me to have access to it. The first thing under the finance is my PMA signed, and that is your purchase agreement, your property management agreement signed. You need to you need to have that. There's certificate of good standing, that's for your LLC, certificate of formation, operating agreement, your W9, special warranty deed. For this special warranty deed, typically you don't get it till you close. The day you close, they'll give it to you. So that might just be the outstanding one you will not have. Your property insurance, percentage of ownership, ID, social security, closing buyer purchase agreement. This one you get it at closing, then set up a bank account and debit card. So these are check items you and your property management company should work on, and this is for your own account. You need to have control or access to the account. So they are going to use your documents to open it, but they will have operating rights on that account. The next thing is utilities, very important. One of the deals we also closed on, the owner was tired of waiting for us because we kept postponing. Do you know what he did? He told us the utility companies that they should turn off the light in 2 days' time, and we're not going to close until 2 weeks after. So the good thing was that we've already started the process of we're right in time, so it was easy for us to just take over ownership of the utility. So some of the things you should be asking for the owners is the electric billing for the last 6 months, gas, trash. And the reason why you're asking for the previous month is because you want to see trends and you want to plug them in into your software. The property manager needs this information to plug it in into his software to see trends. What was the previous owner doing? And what am I doing? So in that way, he knows if he's saving money or if there's an issue. So this is very important. You ask for this 6 to 12 months utility bills, cable, copy of contract service. You need to know of those contract service before you close to know the ones you want him to dissolve or the ones you want to take over. We've seen contract services that we're not interested in, and we told the owner, please cancel. We don't want it. We don't want to take ownership of it. Cancel it. It's not everything they hand over to you that you just take. You need to scrutinize those things. So that is for the utility. Certificate of occupancy. You get this at close of these are items after you close. A certificate of occupancy, like in Dallas, if you close on a property, the city will come and you have to apply for your certificate of occupancy. Once you do that, they will come and inspect the property and tell you if there's any repairs they want you to do before they now issue you the certificate of occupancy. So this is a checklist you need to work with your property management company in those states that requires it. This is peculiar to Texas, so I don't know about some other states. You need certificate of occupancy, and these are things you need to work immediately you close. If not, you might be fined by the city if you do not apply for it. Multi-tenant registration, if applicable. Like for example, if you have low-income housing people in your property, and you need to know the applications that they've done with the city. You need to know them so that you can take over when that time comes. Like we had like two low income housing that the city was paying for. We took ownership of it, and the city has started paying us directly. This thing takes time, so you need to start the process on time. Immediately you close, you need to start because the city takes like 2 months for them to start paying you directly. So you need to work with you are not the one that will do it, your property manager, but you need to be sure that they're on it. Pool permits, if you have a pool manager certificate, if applicable, permits for pool, alarm, boilers, sprinkler, and code. These are very important permits you need to have. So you should ensure that your property manager is collecting all this from the previous owner before you close. This is a very important thing you need to get. Then housing. Like I said, housing authority names, amount, whoever is under housing authority, you need to get everything that pertains to housing. Property, most recent fire and city inspection. This is important as well because at the time when you close, the city, like I said, will inspect, and they can inspect randomly. They can randomly pick units and go in or walk all the property depending on what they feel like doing. And in that way, you need to show this that you have your fire and you have the previous owner has done recent fire and city inspections. These things will help you. Any open code violations, this you need to do this before you even close. For example, the owner might have violated something. You need to check and be sure that there's no open violation on that property that he needs to attend to. So these are things you need to do before. Any open legal actions, in short, I don't need to tell you about this. You should know that if you have legal issues, you need to be sure that the previous owner is sorting it out before you even close. The good thing about this is that the title company, most times they run a title report and these things might show up, and you'll be able to identify that there are issues on the property, and you can either walk away or mandate that the previous owner will sort out all these kind of issues. So this is very, very important. Computer access, surveillance, and all that. If we go through it, Wi-Fi, and termite bond, collection practice, copy of sample list. These are things you need to collect from the previous owner. You have to work with your property manager to get this information for them. Like, I'm the one that gets all this for properties we've closed. I ensure that I work with my property manager and I get all these things for them from the owner, the person I'm working with. I get them and I hand it over to them. Maintenance, inventory of office, store, and amenities. This is very important. We closed on another property and we had a bus. The property came with a shuttle, fine, beautiful bus. And it was in the inventory. And guess what? The previous owner sent someone to come and take it. And because we had an inventory list that the owner wrote on it and said the bus is part of the property, we're able to avoid that from happening. If we didn't have that inventory list or we didn't take inventory stock of the items on the property, we would have lost the vehicle. But we didn't because we had a list before we closed. So that helps. So it's important you do this. The property map, you need this maybe for the layout. When you are advertising your property, you need all these items: pool drain installation receipt, water shut off and location map, list of items under warranty. Is very important in case they damage before that time. You can go back and ask them for a replacement. So you need to know if they have warranties on those items. This will save you cost in the long run. So next slide.
So Bibi, I actually want,
We're almost done.
I know I wanted to do a pulse check and see if we should
Stop. Yes,
should we
we
take a
can stop.
pause here? Yeah, because it's about 9:22.
Oh, we should. Yeah.
And then I want to grab the link to the YouTube channel. I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't sure if it will mess up the my sharing capacity. So while I'm doing this, guys, because we want to be respectful of your time. This was supposed to be from 8 to 9, and we can continue this. I mean, that's okay, right, Vivi? If we
are done. We've wrapped up everything.
pick up from there. Okay.
There are some items, but we can let that go for now.
All right. So questions in the chat. Can you look at the chat while I'm trying to pull up this link and see if there's any? I know somebody had asked a question. Daniel, I don't think he was
You
here.
can unmute and answer. We can call it. No, someone is. How early and how often do you get the PM involved in the due diligence process? Oh my God. Is as early as I'm doing my underwriting, that's how I get my PM involved. In short, they are my first business partner before even my team. My background is underwriting, so they are my bread and butter. I literally, except I know the market, I literally don't send out an LOI without getting their consent. Because they're the ones that will manage it. They're the ones that will tell me if my number is good. So my answer to this is at the beginning, get them on board. They will help you with your underwriting. They will help you with your due diligence. So my property managers are the ones that walk the property and give me work order and create my CapEx estimate and repairs that I need to do. Don't forget they're the ones that will execute those things as well. So they do that for me. And it comes with a fee, but the fee is negotiable in the sense that is charged per door. You can negotiate it, and they give you back 100% back if you retain them, or 50% back if you retain them. So it's not money lost. In short, it's money gained because with them you gain a lot of experience, and you see them when they are checking the electrical. From them, I learned a lot of things, on plumbing, electrical, because they use cameras to check. In short, these guys. My property managers are professional, so work with them from the beginning is very important to the end. In that way, you both are mastering the property. You know it as well as they know it. In the future, when you guys are talking, say, remember we saw this thing at the beginning, and they would say, oh yes, it's true, we saw it, because the both of you started off at the same time. You know it, and it just flows from the beginning.
Is there any other? I think I've dropped the
Yeah, so
the link in the
That's a
chat.
long-term plan. This is wonderful, great. Oh, thank you guys. I'm seeing some. Oh, someone is saying, can you share this template checklist? Sorry, it's private. We'll think about it if we should share it. You know, it's things that we've created and we are using for our deals. But we feel it's important that we tell people that these are things you should be working with your property manager. We'll talk about it and we'll know if we'll share it. And if we will, we'll put it in the YouTube link. You'll see it in the description section. So look out for it.
I just shared the we also have a WhatsApp group now, guys. And so I shared that link as well. You can, you know, if there's something that you heard about, you want to share it with other people, you have questions, you want to reach us somewhat directly, hey, you know, drop it in the WhatsApp group. It's relatively new, but we're engaging with members of this community through there.
Okay, we've answered this. Before you close on a property, have you fully negotiated the contract? Yes, this is a must. You must negotiate it from the beginning. Minimum 3 quotes on any scope of work over. Yes, you must have at least 3 quotes on. For us, we have 3 quotes on things above 5,000. But if there's an emergency, there's a clause on an emergency. We allow things to go. Like we had an emergency, like I told you, the boiler burst, and it's we just couldn't afford to go through scrutinizing 3 different contractors and all that. So we decided to allow that slide. But what we decided to do is to get quotes for subsequent boiler damages. So we are now proactive on those kind of things. But for emergencies, you can be a little flexible. Yeah. So next week, I will invite all of you to be here. For me, this is the most important aspect, your KPIs. What are they? How do we monitor them and why? Then traffic, like I said, one of the key performance indicator we look out for is occupancy. What your income, your delinquencies, your collections. Traffic, this is the origin of everything. How many people, how do you monitor the traffic on your property, and how many of it is turned? So these are topics we'll be talking about. Your property manager has a very key role to play in this. And when they are not doing it, then you should know what to do. I've told you about firing them or whatever if you see those red flags. But this is very important as an asset manager. I'm sure this is the asset management course itself. So please join us next in 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, in 2 weeks. I mean, we said next week, but it's really in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us. It is about 9:28. Sorry we went over and we actually didn't finish every single thing that we had, you know, set out to. But share a takeaway on the Facebook, Instagram. If any of you is trying to raise capital and you want to tell people about what you're doing, this would be a great time. Let me see if I can I'll switch to gallery mode. Turn on your screens, take a screen grab, share with people what you're doing, let them know. If people don't know you, they can't follow you, you know how that goes. So this would be a good time. You can take a screenshot if you choose. Otherwise, we will see you next week. It's going to be in November.
Yes, please join our WhatsApp group. In that group, you can ask questions. I am a go-to to my WhatsApp. I'm very active on WhatsApp. So join our group. If I see questions, I'll answer. And anybody, there are so many people on that group that can give you wealth of knowledge. So join our WhatsApp group. I will encourage everyone to be part of it. Thank you all for coming.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bibi. Thanks, Ify.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. It's good to see you.